Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We just got back from New York. We finished up the 6th and final Major League Fishing Pro Circuit event on the St. Lawrence River. We ended up in 2nd place, a great tournament overall, but I got to tell you, I'm a little disappointed. Going out on the 4th day, I was behind. I was in 3rd place, behind the leader by roughly 7 pounds, and I didn't think that there was any way that I was actually fishing for 1st place. And it so turns out that Joey Cifuentes, who was leading the tournament, ended up having a really difficult final day, and he left the door open, and myself and Cody Pike were able to surpass him and have a shot at the win. Unfortunately for myself, Cody Pike had a fantastic day, caught 22 plus pounds and ended up winning by 1.5 pounds. So my hats go off to Cody Pike. Congratulations on your 1st win. For myself, it was really an odd day because, I don't think anyone thought that they actually had a shot at winning. So I was able to go out and fish almost completely stress-free. I mean, I did not have any of that pressure of trying to secure the win. I really thought I was fishing for 2nd place, so that was fantastic. What I didn't like was when I got in, there were several people that came up to me and kind of were leading me to believe that I had a legitimate shot at winning the tournament. So you start getting your hopes up during the bag line, and I shortly found out that I was going to be a little bit short and finish 2nd. So I can't complain, guys. It was a great tournament. I ended up qualifying for the championship. Finished 30th in points overall, and it just was, it was a great week, a fantastic week of fishing. I had 81 pounds total, so that's over a 4-pound average for the 20 fish that I weighed in, and I had a blast. So I've had a lot of people ask me specifically what were my setups, so I want to go over what I was doing, and I really tried to keep it really simple in this event. I primarily threw a drop shot with a Berkley flatworm on it. Let's see if I have one here. So the color really didn't matter that much. This is Mango Magic. Any sort of natural colors. I had 3 drop shots rigged up. I was using a 1/2 ounce, a 3/8 ounce, and a 1/4 ounce. And I really had like 5 or 6 different bags of Berkley Max Scent flatworms opened. And I was just reaching and grabbing a color. For the most part, every color they make is a really good natural color and works fantastic. So I tried to keep them a little bit different based on the drop shot I was throwing to give the fish a little different presentation, a different color. I'd make 5-6 casts with one, maybe pick up a different drop shot and throw a different weight with a different color, or even just replace the color with a different color and use the same weight that I had been using. So, I mean, really, that flatworm is the key. If you're fishing smallmouth anywhere on a drop shot, it is fantastic. From a rod and reel combination, this is the Abu Garcia Revo Rocket. I love throwing the Rocket anytime I'm drop shotting because it has a fast gear ratio and picks up so much more line per turn. So when you're drop shotting, you're normally making a cast, you work the bait a little bit, and then you pick up, you reel it in, make another cast, and you're really expecting the bite to be on that first portion of your cast. So you want a reel that picks up a lot of line, and that allows you to make more casts by the end of the day. From a rod standpoint, this is a custom build that I do. It's an MHX blank. You can get all the components and the blanks through mudhole.com. This is the NSJ 871, so it's a 7'3" 1 power. I got a mosquito buzzing me. Absolutely fantastic all-around smallmouth rod. It's perfect for drop shots. It's perfect for Ned rigs. Really any finesse bait that you want to throw for smallmouth. I cannot say enough good things about this rod. I am absolutely in love with it. So that was my primary presentation. For the most part, I was fishing current seams, which could be current seams that were formed coming off the shoreline, or a point, or an actual structure, a piece of land, or they were current seams where you had 2 currents coming together, and when they come together, you'll get a slick right where they meet. And if you can get your bait to get to the bottom right between those slicks, you have a, you know, that's where the fish are going to be, and you have a shot at catching fish. So it really was one of those things that, depending on what the current was like, I would throw a 1/2 ounce in the super fast current, and if it was slower current, I would throw a lighter weight. I wanted to get away with the lightest weight possible, but in the current that they have on the St. Lawrence River, it's just a raging river, and it's really hard to keep your bait on the bottom, especially because you're fishing, you know, I was catching my fish anywhere from 15 down to about 40 feet of water, depending on which current seam I was fishing. So you want to have different weights to be able to get to the bottom in different zones. You know, I felt like if I was using the 1/2 ounce in an area where I should have been using a 1/4, I was getting less bites than had I been throwing the 1/4. So that's what I was doing. Now, I do want to point out on day 2, and I don't have footage from day 2 and 3, unfortunately, but we had really strong winds on day 2 out of the west. And a lot of the spots I was fishing, you know, you have current that's kind of flowing from, it's like southwest to northeast. So a northwest wind, a lot of times, was almost always creating a bow in my line, which was making it really hard to present my bait. Because for the most part, I was throwing my bait directly in front of me, letting the current bring it back to me at a natural speed. When we had that strong west wind on day 2, I had to switch my presentation from throwing directly into the current to throwing more at a perpendicular cast to the current. So when I did that, that's when I switched to what I call my T-swivel drop shot. And I know you guys have, some of you guys have watched my video that I just did about a week ago, where I actually talked about this and how I thought it would really play at the St. Lawrence River. And this is it, you know, it's a drop shot, and instead of having the bait directly to the line right here, I've got a short leader on a T-swivel. So this swivel, this is one that's actually like 2 swivels, and this swings freely. So that'll prevent line twist, and the current will take this bait and hover this bait downstream of where my line is. Now that worked perfectly on the day, on the second day, when I could not cast directly into the current. So what was happening is, you know, you would make a long cast perpendicular, you'd get a bow in your line, and that bow in the line then, you know, had your bait coming further off the bow. So it's hard to describe, but if my line would look kind of like my hand is, and then the bait was coming off right here, and it would you know, be 4 or 5 inches back, and the current was just kind of, you know, letting it swim freely. And that worked really well on day 2, and I caught the majority of my fish doing that. I did not do it though, like I said, on the other days, because I was able to cast directly in front of me and let the current come and bring it right back to me, which is the presentation that I wanted to make. I did also have some shallow fish found. It was just a couple of shallow flats with some rock and some sand mixed in, a little bit of weed. And I kept checking that. I think I did it every day a little bit, and was able to catch 1 or 2 fish each day. The last day I was able to catch a couple of nice fish in one of the specific areas. And in that case, you know, I was fishing anywhere from like 2 to 8 feet of water. And when I was doing that, I was throwing either the drop shot on the 1/4 ounce, or I was picking up just the Ned rig. Anywhere from, again, depending on how deep I was fishing, it was, you know, like the 1/5 ounce or the 1/6 ounce size, just in a green pumpkin color. Nothing fancy, just a typical Ned. That seemed to work really well to get me a couple extra bites. So this was an event, guys, where I really kept it simple. I wanted to maximize my time, so I stayed close to the ramp. I wanted to fish my strengths, so I was throwing smaller finesse baits. And it was just more of a numbers game. I knew if I could catch a dozen fish, I felt like I'd have 5 good quality 3.5 pound class fish. And I was able to do that every day. I had 22.5 day 1, just under 19 day 2, just over 19 day 3, and getting close to 21 pounds on day 4. You know, I had the fish on, guys, to win the event. I lost on day 1. I lost 2 fish that were in the 5 pound class that, you know, both those fish would have given me 3 pounds of upgrades. Day 2, I lost a 4 pounder That would have given me an extra ½ pound. Day 3, I lost a 5+. It was a giant fish. I think they got it on the Major League Fishing Live TV show. I weighed a 2-pound, 14-ounce fish on day 3, and that fish was every bit of 5 pounds. So right there, you're looking at over 2 pounds worth of upgrades. And then I lost another 4+ in the beginning of day 4. So I had the fish on, but I can't complain because that's something that everyone goes through in the tournament. If you're catching the numbers of big fish that you need to be catching in order to compete in that tournament, you're going to lose fish. Light line, you know, big fighting fish, heavy current, zebra mussels. It's a recipe for disaster, and I lost a lot of fish. Unfortunately, you know, it's going to sting a little bit. But that's what I was throwing. I'm just to go over the Ned rig setup again. You know, I was throwing the NSJ 871 MHX blank again. I was throwing a Revo MG Extreme reel, so it was not the Revo Rocket. This is just my all-around favorite spinning reel produced by Abby Garcia. It's a very high-end reel, which has a fantastic gear ratio, or a drag system on it. And, you know, it's just super smooth. It just really allows me to have confidence that I'm not going to have issues fighting giant smallmouth. So that's the setup, guys. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Next year's championship is back there. I'd love to make that and have another shot at the St. Lawrence smallmouth bass. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We got new tips and tricks that come out every day.